slower. This is an old John Anderson tune, beautiful song. I consider myself a pretty big John Anderson fan. I've liked every song I've heard of his, but I actually had not heard this one until the other day. Heard it on the radio. It's slow and very pretty. Don't let that fool you. It's actually ridiculously hard to play if you try to play it in the original key it was written in and do the finger picking, and you're doing it by yourself on solo acoustic. If you look up the chords for this on the internet, every major guitar site has them partially incorrect. AZ chords, E chords, Ultimate Guitar, they all have this incorrect. A lot of websites put it in a different key so that it's much easier to play. D is pretty common. In terms of covers of this, there's a handful on YouTube. There's, I think, 2 professional covers. There's one by Marc Chestnut. Marc Chestnut's band actually does play it in the original key of C, but they have like 3 guitar players and a bass player on stage, so there's enough people to do all the different parts so that one person doesn't have to. If you're playing it by yourself and trying to do the finger picking and the chromatic walkdown, it's going to be really difficult, whereas if you have a full band, you can do the finger picking and have the bass player do the walkdown. Steve Warner did a cover of it, but he transposes it up to the key of D, makes it much easier to play. There's 2 or 3 amateur covers of this on YouTube. Most of them are in the key of D or the key of B, so that it's much easier. There's one person I saw on YouTube that did it in the original key of C, but they don't get all of the extra notes that are added on some of the chords. They just play kind of like standard C chord, and that's fine. It just won't sound, exact. So I'm going to go through some of the chord progressions in the original key of C exactly as they sound in the original version, and maybe I'll show you a trick or 2 about how to make this a little bit easier to play if you're doing it by yourself. So the first chord is going to be a C that has the 5th re-emphasized over top. This will be incorrectly listed on most guitar websites as C add 9. I've seen a lot of websites that show that as the first chord. C add 9 would be like here. Or if you were playing it down here, a C add 9 would be here. C add 9 is a beautiful chord, but it's not the first chord of this song. The first chord of the song, like I said, has that 5th re-emphasized. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Your 5th note in the C scale is going to be your G, right? So that's what you want to emphasize here. So the finger picking, it's like there's a couple different ways you could play that. You could try to do it, down here as a standard C chord, and then your 5th is going to be right this G on top. You really want to hear that 5th as the 3rd note in the finger picking progression. The first note has to be C, the 3rd note has to be that 5th, the G. The other 2, it doesn't really make that much of a difference. If you got the right rhythm, it'll still sound good. You just have to make sure the first note's C and the 3rd note is the G. So that's your first chord, right? So C with the added 5th. I think it's easier to play it up here. Start with your C bar shape. Take the pinky, add it to the G here. But if you want to play it down here and you're more comfortable with that and it's easier for you, you can do that too. So that's your standard C shape, right? And then the pinky is going to drop onto the 3rd fret on your high E. That's the sound you're looking for. I like it up here. next chord, I would just think about it as the exact same chord. The only thing that changes is instead of the root being C, the root is now B. I'm sorry, the root is now B flat or A sharp. So I just keep that same shape up here. That's a little bit of a stretch. That's why I said this is very hard to play. If you were doing it, live with a band, you would just hold the C, and the bass player would go from C to A flat. If you don't do the finger picking, that stretch is not that hard at all. But if you're trying to do the finger picking, you still have to have this pinky way up here to hit that G we talked about, the fifth. The other option is to try to hit the G up here. So you would still start with that first C here. And then this lick is pretty easy. I don't know if y'all can see that. And so that's just going to repeat over and over during the verses. The only thing that's different is every other verse you get a break on that last chord, the one that's, I don't know if we actually talked about the last one. So we talked about the C with the G emphasized. Then you got the same chord, but you have the A sharp. And then you have the A. So it's going to be an A minor with that G still emphasized. And then it's going to come down to an A flat or a G sharp. Now that's a little bit of dissonance because you have a G sharp in the bass, but you still have an actual G over top. Don't swap those. If you have the G in the bass and the G sharp over top, it's going to sound awful. So yeah. And then the second go around, every other line in the verse, it just goes straight from the C to the A flat to the A to an actual F major chord. Which is obviously a much easier chord to play. I like the F major down here as bar. You could also play it up here. And so that's going to be the verse that just repeats over and over. And then the chorus is really easy. It gives your hand and your brain a break from all of that weirdness we just went over. So the chorus is going to start on F, then it goes to D minor, then it goes back to F, and then this is gorgeous. It goes from C to G to F, back to C. And I've seen this part partially correct on major guitar chord tab websites. They just forget the G. I don't know how you forget the G. I mean, that's one of the most beautiful parts about this song. It's where he goes, it's blue tonight and getting bluer. And it goes to the C. I'm in the state that I deserve to be. So C, I'm in the state is the G. State that I, and then F is deserve to be. And then it has this, without you, I just can't see things ever looking for me. So F to G to A minor. for me. And then it's going to go from the C to the A sharp in bass, and then to F. So down in Tennessee, back to the C. So the chorus is pretty easy and straightforward. It's just that verse that's going to give you a lot of trouble if you try to finger pick it on solo acoustic guitar. So yeah, that's pretty much the whole song, and I guess I'll attempt to do a cover of it, but I think the way I'm going to do it is the intro to the song. I'm going to actually do the whole part we just talked about. And in between verses I'll do that part, but when I'm actually trying to sing, I'm going to play it down here and go from regular C and then do the A minor with my pinky, or the A sharp. And so that'll be a little bit easier to sing over instead of trying to worry about doing all that pinky maneuvering while singing. I wouldn't do that for the intro though. Yeah, gorgeous chords, and I guess I'll give it a shot now. Talked to your sister last night on the telephone. You know she always thought pretty well of me. She said your wedding went fine, you were up in New York on your honeymoon, and I'm still down in Tennessee. I got that letter you wrote, it tore me up, but I don't have anyone to blame. I had it all for a while, but like everything else, no, I messed it up. And that's why I'm down in Tennessee. It's blue tonight, getting bluer. I'm in the state that I deserve to be. Without you, I just see things looking up for me. I'm down in Tennessee. I hope you're happy with him, he's a lucky man. I hope he gives you that home and family. I wanna say if by chance you're ever this way, look me up, 'cause I'll be town in Tennessee. Things are blue, night getting bluer. I'm in the state that I deserve to be. Without you, I just see things ever looking for me. I'm so down in Tennessee.